Taggart once chilled audiences with its spine-tingling crimes and fearless detectives, but in real life, the cast themselves faced tragedies far more painful than anything shown on screen. Some died alone in illness, others lost everything after the spotlight faded, and their fates in 2025 leave no one untouched. Let's look back and pay tribute to the legacies they left behind. Mark McManus as DCI Jim Taggart. Mark McManus was born on February 21, 1935, in Hamilton, Scotland. When he took on the role of DCI Jim Taggart in 1983, he was 48 years old and quickly defined the show's gritty, cold, but compassionate tone. With his distinctive voice and steely gaze, McManus convinced audiences that no one else could ever replace him as the legendary Glasgow detective. But behind the strength seen on screen was a lonely man deeply scarred by loss. Mark's private life was filled with sorrow. He went through 2 marriages, but his second wife, Marion McManus, was his greatest emotional anchor. When she died of cancer in 1993, McManus was devastated. He withdrew from colleagues, became quiet and distant, and turned to alcohol to numb the pain. The once warm home they shared became a place filled only with memories and loneliness, and that grief slowly consumed him. In his final years, McManus battled severe alcoholism, which led to liver failure and pneumonia. He was hospitalized multiple times, and his health deteriorated steadily. Friends recalled that even when he could barely stand, he still wanted to be on set, but his body could no longer endure it. On June 6, 1994, Mark McManus passed away in Glasgow at the age of 59, just 8 months after his wife's death. He was posthumously honored with the Lord Provost of Glasgow's Performing Arts Award as a final tribute. His net worth at the time was estimated at around $1 million, earned mainly from his acting career in both the UK and Australia. James MacPherson as D.S. Mike Jardine. James MacPherson was born on March 18, 1960, in Hamilton, Lanarkshire, Scotland. When he was just 27 years old, he played D.S. Mike Jardine, an intelligent, loyal detective who always stood firmly by Jim Taggart's side in Taggart, 1987. His character gradually became one of the show's pillars, later promoted to D.I., and carried on the integrity and courage that fans loved. Off-screen, James has enjoyed a long, stable marriage to Jacqueline MacPherson, whom he married in 1986. They have 3 children and have managed to keep their family strong for decades. However, MacPherson once shared that his Taggart years were both glorious and exhausting. The intense filming schedule kept him away from home, bringing pressure and occasional strain to his marriage. Yet love and understanding helped them overcome everything, allowing him to continue giving his all to his craft. In the later years of his television career, James faced a rare medical condition that caused his lungs to collapse without warning. The health crisis forced him to leave Taggart in 2001, much to fans' regret. Still, he didn't abandon performing. Instead, he turned to stage acting, voice work, and producing. By 2025, James MacPherson is 65, healthy, and still passionate about acting. He frequently performs in Scottish theatre productions and teaches aspiring young actors. With an estimated net worth of around $2 million, he stands as proof that not every Taggart story ends in tragedy. Sometimes, the good truly do find peace after the storm. Robert Robertson, as Dr. Stephen Andrews. Robert Robertson was born on July 3, 1930, in St. Andrews, Fife, Scotland. At 53 years old, he played Dr. Stephen Andrews, a calm, intelligent forensic pathologist who often provided the answers to the 1983 series' most complex crimes. With his professional composure and thoughtful gaze, Robertson turned his character into the show's quiet soul, a man who faced death daily, yet never lost his compassion. In his personal life, Robert shared a lasting love with Helena Stevens, his lifelong partner, whom he met in his early days in theater. They had 2 children, Alistair and Fiona, and built a home filled with art, warmth, and love. Family provided him with balance amid the pressures of work and stage life. Yet behind his calm exterior, Robertson secretly battled heart disease, a condition that forced him to be cautious in everything he did, though he often tried to hide it so as not to disrupt his work. Robertson devoted his life to the stage. He once served as the artistic director of Dundee Repertory Theatre and directed major plays such as The Cherry Orchard and The Tempest. When he wasn't in front of the camera, he lived in the world of theater, where he found freedom and the true meaning of life. But fate did not allow him much rest. On January 17, 2001, while performing on stage in Perth, Robert Robertson collapsed from a heart attack in the middle of reading a poem by Robert Burns. He was rushed to the hospital but did not survive, passing away at the age of 70. His sudden death shocked the Scottish theatre world. He left behind an estimated net worth of about $1.5 million, earned through decades of dedication to television and stage. Blythe Duff as D.S. Jackie Reed. Blythe Duff was born on November 25, 1962, in East Kilbride, Scotland. She was 28 when she took on the role of D.S. Jackie Reed, a sharp, resilient detective who became a symbol of female strength within the Scottish police force in Taggart, 1990. Over 2 decades, she became one of the series' most recognizable faces, maintaining a balance of strength and sensitivity. A woman who fought not only criminals, but also prejudice within her own profession. In real life, Blythe has enjoyed a happy marriage to Tom Forrest, a former police officer who later became a journalist. They married in 1998 and have 2 daughters, Saoirse and Owen. The actress has admitted that the long, intense years of filming often left her exhausted and torn between her career and her family. Yet it was her husband's empathy and steadfast support that helped them endure every challenge, turning their marriage into a safe harbor after each demanding role. After Taggart ended, Blythe returned to her first love, the stage. She went on to win 2 Best Female Performance Awards at the Critics' Awards for Theatre in Scotland, 2013-2014, and received an honorary doctorate for her contributions to the performing arts. In addition, she became a patron of the Scottish Youth Theatre, inspiring thousands of young performers to pursue their passion. By 2025, Blythe Duff, now 63, remains vibrant and active in the arts. She teaches, performs internationally, and supports numerous children's theater projects. With an estimated net worth of around $3 million, Blythe is remembered not only as the steadfast detective Jackie Reed, but also as one of Scotland's most inspiring figures in the world of theatre and performance. Ian Anders as Superintendent Jack McVitie. Ian Anders was born on February 8, 1933, in Barnet, London, to a Scottish family. At the age of 52, he portrayed Supton Jack the Biscuit McVitie, a strict but fair commanding officer who helped define the signature tone of Scotland's first major crime drama series in 1985. With his stern expression and commanding presence, Anders became a symbol of integrity and discipline within the world of police investigation. Behind that calm and authoritative figure, however, was a lonely soul burdened with unspoken sadness. Ian was married to Barbara Johnson, a gentle London woman who stood by him throughout the most demanding years of his acting career. The couple had no children, a quiet sorrow they both carried. As work consumed his time, distance slowly grew between them, leaving Ian to face an overwhelming emptiness each time he returned to their quiet home. By his 60s, Ian began showing signs of heart disease, but kept it secret so he could continue working. He often said, "As long as I can work, I'm alive." Yet the long filming hours, constant mental strain, and age began to take their toll. Friends recalled that he sometimes pushed through chest pain just to finish his final scenes, smiling the moment the camera stopped rolling. It was, unknowingly, his preparation for a farewell no one expected. On September 5, 1997, while planning a new project, Ian Anders died suddenly of a heart attack at the age of 64. His death shocked his colleagues, and the last 3 episodes featuring him were aired posthumously, serving as his fateful goodbye. His net worth was estimated at around $1 million, largely earned through decades of dedication to stage and television. Alex Norton as DCI Matt Burke. Alex Norton was born on January 27, 1950, in Glasgow, Scotland. When he was 52 years old, he took on the role of DCI Matt Burke, a tough but deeply humane leader who breathed new life into the series during its later years. His intelligence, directness, and subtle humor made audiences feel that Burke wasn't just a character, but the very soul of the investigation team. Yet Alex's real life was far from easy. He met actress Sally Kinghorn, a fellow artist, in the 1970s. They fell deeply in love but faced nearly 3 decades of challenges before finally marrying in 2001. As Norton began finding fame in Hollywood with roles in Braveheart and Pirates of the Caribbean, he spent long periods away from home, leaving Sally to raise their 3 young children alone. The pressure of his career and the guilt of missing family moments pushed him into periods of emotional crisis. But it was Sally who helped him find his way back. Years of grueling work schedules and constant flights between Europe and America took a toll on Norton's health. He once suffered severe exhaustion and had to take time off from acting to recover. That health scare became a turning point, prompting him to scale back and focus on family life and more meaningful projects. Despite life's ups and downs, Alex remained optimistic, believing that art itself was a form of healing. By 2025, Alex Norton is 75 years old, healthy, and still devoted to Scottish cinema. He lives peacefully in Glasgow with his wife, occasionally appearing in productions such as Outlander and Two Doors Down. With an estimated net worth of around $4 million, he stands not only as a veteran actor but also as a symbol of resilience, dedication, and enduring love. Tom Watson as Superintendent Michael Garden. Tom Watson was born on March 21, 1932, in Auchinleck, Ayrshire, Scotland. In Taggart, 1983, he was 51 years old when he took on the role of Superintendent Michael Garden, a strict, principled commander and the embodiment of authority during the show's early seasons. With his extensive stage experience and calm demeanor, Watson crafted a portrait of a leader who was both tough and fair, helping establish the serious and realistic tone that defined this legendary Scottish crime drama. In contrast to the hard-edged characters he portrayed, Tom's private life was simple and peaceful. While working at the Perth Repertory Theatre, he met Joyce Bain, a young and talented actress. The two quickly fell in love, married, and built a warm, loving family together. Though long days under stage lights and demanding filming schedules sometimes created tension, Joyce remained his unwavering emotional support, a true partner in both his career and his life. In his later years, Tom's health began to decline. He was diagnosed with cancer but continued to work, refusing to rest until he had completed his remaining projects. Colleagues recalled how he still showed up to set even as his body weakened, simply because, in his own words, he didn't want to let the audience down. After months of silent struggle, the illness finally claimed his life. On August 18, 2001, Tom Watson passed away at St. Andrew's Memorial Hospital at the age of 69. His net worth was estimated at around $1 million, largely earned from his decades of dedication to British theatre and television. Colin McCredie as DC Stuart Fraser. Colin McCredie was born on June 8, 1972, in Dumbarton, Scotland. When he was just 23 years old, he played DC Stuart Fraser, a bright, sharp young detective who became the first openly gay character in Taggart, 1995. With his natural and nuanced performance, Colin brought a refreshing new energy to the show, turning his role into a symbol of openness and progress in Scottish television at the time. Off-screen, Colin's life has also been filled with highs and lows. He married Simone McCredie in 2002, and together they have two daughters, Maisie and Greta. Though their home has always been filled with laughter, Colin has admitted that maintaining balance between his career and family life has been one of his greatest challenges. When Taggart was canceled in 2010, he went through a difficult financial and emotional period, losing not only a steady income, but also a sense of identity after 15 years on the show. At one point, he nearly gave up acting altogether, but Simone encouraged him to keep going, helping him rebuild his confidence and career from the ground up. Beyond work pressures, Colin also faced mental health struggles brought on by unemployment and the weight of being a provider. He once shared that there were nights he couldn't sleep, worrying about his family's future. Yet through resilience and a deep love for his craft, he eventually found his footing again, appearing in productions such as River City and Between Weathers. He also became a patron of the Scottish Youth Theatre, the very place where his acting journey began. In 2025, at 53, Colin McCredie continues to work passionately in television and theatre across Scotland. He lives with his family in Glasgow and often shares heartwarming glimpses of their life together. His net worth is estimated at around $2 million, the result of more than 3 decades of hard work, perseverance, and devotion to his art. Alistair Duncan as D.S. Peter Livingston. Alistair Duncan was born in 1958 in Edinburgh, Scotland. When he joined Tagert in 1983, he was 25 years old, playing D.S. Peter Livingstone, a young, intelligent, and idealistic detective often at odds with Jim Taggart. With his calm performance and professional manner, Duncan brought to life a modern investigator, helping shape the foundation of what would become one of Scotland's most iconic crime dramas. After leaving Taggart, Alistair's life took a new turn. He moved to the United States to pursue his acting career, where he met actress Anna Gunn, who would later gain worldwide fame for her role as Skylar in Breaking Bad. The two married and had 2 daughters, Issa Rose and Emma. However, differences in personality and the pressures of demanding careers gradually strained their relationship. By 2009, the couple divorced under tense circumstances, marking one of the loneliest and most difficult periods in Duncan's life. In the years that followed, Alistair focused entirely on voice acting, a field where he found peace and steady success. He became one of Hollywood's most recognizable voices, lending his talent to iconic roles such as Alfred in Batman, Arkham, Mimir in God of War, and Celebrimbor in Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. The work allowed him to avoid the pressures of public life, though it also led him to live a quiet, private existence. By 2025, Alistair Duncan is 67 years old and living alone in Los Angeles. He occasionally appears at gaming and entertainment events and remains regarded as one of Hollywood's veteran voice actors. With an estimated net worth of about $5 million, built over decades in video games and animation, he continues to be a respected and enduring presence behind the microphone. John Michie as D.I. Robbie Ross. John Michie was born on October 25, 1956, in Myanmar, Burma, to a Scottish family. At the age of 42, he played D.Y. Robbie Ross, a tough, sharp, and slightly rebellious detective who represented a new generation of investigators in Taggart, 1998. With his natural charisma and rugged charm, Michie quickly became one of the most recognizable faces of Scottish television for over a decade. Off-screen, John Michie led a warm family life with his partner, Carol Fletcher, a talented dancer. Together, they had 3 children and shared a deep, enduring bond through the highs and lows of show business. But in 2017, tragedy struck when their youngest daughter, Luella Fletcher Michie, died at the Bestival Music Festival after taking drugs. The 24-year-old's death shattered the family and led to a prolonged legal battle when her boyfriend was accused of manslaughter. The devastating loss pushed John into a period of depression and emotional exhaustion, yet he found the strength to keep going, channeling his grief into purpose. He became an advocate for drug awareness and prevention, using his platform to warn others about the dangers of substance abuse. Over the following years, he returned to television with acclaimed roles such as Carl Monroe in Coronation Street and Guy Self in Holby City, while continuing to prioritize his family and healing. By 2025, at 69, John Michie remains active in the television industry and participates in charitable projects dedicated to his daughter's memory. He lives with Carol in London, maintaining his calm demeanor and familiar grace. His net worth is estimated at around $3 million, earned primarily from decades of television work and production efforts, the legacy of a man who turned tragedy into compassion and resilience. Ron Donachie as Hamish Baird. Ron Donachie was born on April 26, 1956, in Dundee, Scotland. At the age of 31, he played Hamish Baird, a dedicated, honest police officer and a loyal companion within the investigation team in Taggart, 1987. With his grounded yet powerful performance, Ron portrayed Hamish as the moral core of justice, the quiet strength standing behind what was right in a world full of darkness. Off-screen, Ron's life carried its own share of pressures that few knew about. He married Fiona Bigger in 1989, a kind and intelligent complementary therapist. The couple has 2 children, including son Daniel Portman, who would later find global fame as Podrick Payne in Game of Thrones. Yet Ron has admitted that balancing fatherhood with a career built mostly on supporting roles often left him exhausted and emotionally strained. Fiona remained his emotional anchor, but the years of traveling between sets and theaters meant long stretches apart, and only deep love and mutual understanding kept them strong through the distance. Throughout his long career, Ron Donachie also faced mental fatigue and burnout from being typecast as a supporting actor. However, through theater performances such as The Crucible and Rebus, Long Shadows, he rediscovered his true worth, finding joy not in fame, but in authenticity, recognition, and connection. The stage became his refuge, helping him restore his mental health and rekindle the love for the craft that once wore him down. In 2025, at 69, Ron Donachie remains an active and respected figure in Scottish film and theater. He lives with his wife in Glasgow, devotes time to teaching acting, and occasionally appears in international television projects. His net worth is estimated at around $2 million, the result of decades of steady, passionate dedication to his art and the quiet dignity that has always defined him. Celia Imrie as Helen Lomax. Celia Imrie was born on July 15, 1952, in Guildford, England. When she joined Taggart in 1988, she was 36 and portrayed Helen Lomax, a complex, sharp, and deeply layered character who embodied the transformation of women in modern society. Her performance impressed audiences with its unique balance of strength and vulnerability, a subtle brilliance that only Celia Imrie could bring to life. But behind that confident exterior were deep emotional scars that Celia had carried since adolescence. At 14, she suffered from severe anorexia and was hospitalized, undergoing harsh treatments including electroshock therapy and heavy sedation. The trauma haunted her for years, forcing her to constantly fight to regain her sense of self-worth. In adulthood, she shared a profound relationship with actor Benjamin Whitrow, who later became the father of her son, Angus Imrie. Though they never married, the two remained deeply connected until Benjamin's death in 2017, a devastating loss that left Celia heartbroken and took her a long time to recover from. Beyond personal grief, Celia also battled serious illness. In 2005, she suffered a pulmonary embolism that left her hospitalized in critical condition for 2 weeks. After recovering, she described the experience as a reminder from fate to cherish life more deeply. From then on, she worked tirelessly, starring in beloved films like Bridget Jones's Diary, Calendar Girls, and The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, always carrying with her the grace and resilience of someone who had faced great pain yet refused to be defeated. By 2025, Celia Imrie is 73 years old, dividing her time between London and Nice, France. She continues to act, write books, perform on stage, and spend time with her son, Angus, who has followed in her footsteps as an actor. With an estimated net worth of around $10 million, she stands as proof of a woman once broken but never beaten, a survivor who turned pain into art and endurance into elegance. Tony Curran as Ian Jardine. Tony Curran was born on December 13, 1968, in Glasgow, Scotland. When he was just 18 years old, he played Ian Jardine, a young, eager, and ambitious officer at the start of his career in Taggart, 1988. Though his appearance was brief, the role opened the first door that led Tony from the Scottish stage to Hollywood, where he would go on to become one of the most familiar faces in international film and television. The road to success, however, was far from easy. In his early years in London, Tony lived frugally, taking whatever small parts he could find, from low-profile TV roles to short commercials. At one point, he admitted that he nearly gave up acting altogether, but his belief that even a small role can change your life kept him going. When he landed parts in major films like Gladiator and Blade 2, he finally began to find his place. But fame brought its own challenges, particularly the loneliness that often comes with it. Tony once confessed, "Success came so fast that I forgot how to enjoy it. I had to relearn how to live, not just how to act." During those turbulent years, he met Mai Nguyen, an intelligent and compassionate woman who helped him rediscover balance after years of professional exhaustion. They married in 2012 and welcomed a daughter. Though their marriage is stable, Tony has admitted there were times he was on the brink of burnout, constantly working and feeling pressured to prove himself in every supporting role. Mai became his grounding force, reminding him to value what he had rather than chase what was lost. Through her love and understanding, Tony overcame his insecurities and regained his creative strength. By 2025, at 56, Tony Curran remains an active force in international entertainment. He is widely praised for his emotional portrayal of Vincent van Gogh in Doctor Who, one of the series' most moving episodes, and continues to appear in major projects such as Outlaw King, Secret Invasion, and Outlander, Blood of My Blood. Beyond acting, he serves as a goodwill ambassador for the Celtic FC Foundation, actively engaging in charity work. His estimated net worth of around $3 million reflects more than 3 decades of relentless dedication and resilience. Taggart may have ended, but the real-life stories of its cast continue to haunt and move audiences. Whose story touched you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel, because behind the fame there are always untold human stories waiting to be revealed.